for booster shots. So let's get started here now. I see that line is locked. Does that mean Dr. Jim's on the air? Hello, Dr. Jim.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to talk to you. Let's start with just this. LA County hit a bad milestone. The first time that there have been 3 consecutive days with more than 1,000 new cases each day since March. What are you seeing down there in Orange County in terms of a rise in cases? And what do you make of these current numbers in terms of whether, like, at what point do alarm bells need to be sounded, if at all?
Yeah, so it always surprises me when, certain things happen, and then you have an expected consequence from those actions, and everybody's a little bit surprised. So, we had every mandate dropped, right, as of, June 15th. Yeah. And so now we have people, again, mixing in social spaces, closely without social distancing. Masks are gone in almost everywhere. And so you'd expect, while there's still a virus circulating, for there to be an uptick. And so we've seen that uptick as well. So we had I went, a week or so without seeing a single COVID case, and now we're starting to see COVID cases again. We're down to 0 patients in the hospital, and now, we have more. So over the last week or so, I think we probably admitted almost 10 people with COVID, which is a very small number. But it's still a big uptick compared to 0. We're seeing the uptick. I think it's kind of expected at this point. It shows that, number one, that social distancing works, but looking at the data coming out of England from this Delta variant, it also shows that the vaccine has dramatically reduced how big that uptick would have been.
So this is a problem now of the unvaccinated.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the people that we're seeing that are being admitted to the hospital are 100% unvaccinated. We're just not seeing vaccinated people coming back, getting COVID, that is symptomatic, that needs testing in the emergency room, and then being admitted to the hospital.
Now, I know that, across the country, cases are up. I think week over week, they went up 47%. And a lot of those cases are concentrated in 5 places: Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, and Nevada. Are we seeing a correlation between hot spots of new cases and those places also being hot spots of unvaccinated people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a correlation there. That won't always be the case, though. And so, again, I'm careful about saying, well, look, here's a correlation, because there'll be times when there's outbreaks in areas that have a high vaccination rate, but it just happens to be that a group of like-minded people got together and spread the disease through a bunch of unvaccinated people in an area where it's 70% vaccinated. So, we still will see outbreaks in highly vaccinated areas, but mostly among the unvaccinated. And again, there's still these people that have a poor response to the vaccine: elderly people with immune compromise, and they may still be at risk as well for getting the disease. But it's no question about it. This sure slows it down dramatically. And so I'm not as worried about this uptick as I would have been, back in December and January when it was ready to take us down. So far, it looks like the vaccine does protect against the Delta variant, and that's what's circulating. So I do feel like we have some protection against those big numbers.
All right, good. Now listen, let's get a news update from Jennifer Jones-Lee, and then I want to ask you specifically about this issue. It's kind of 2 things having to do with the vaccine. One, some places are reporting research that says the amount of active antibodies in people's blood is dropping precipitously over time. And then also this issue of booster, no booster. You got Dr. Fauci saying doesn't think people need a booster right now, but we know Pfizer is meeting today with health officials to talk about getting approval to offer a booster shot of their vaccine. So I want your thoughts on kind of both of those angles on these vaccines. This is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and Your chance to win $1,000 is coming right up. Jen, give us some news.
President Biden's going forward with his effort to fight gun violence. He'll meet with several local leaders today from around the country at the White House. Senator Bernie Sanders criticizing billionaire Richard Branson's weekend space flight. He says he thinks it was a waste of resources, tweeting, "Half the nation is living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to put food on the table." And tennis star Novak Djokovic is thanking his team and family after winning Wimbledon. He celebrated his victory over Matteo Berrettini in the men's singles final yesterday. We'll take a look at your drive with VKFI in the sky and the 118 next.
We've spent a lot of time playing solo the past year. COVID-19 vaccines are helping us jump back into the things we love. With the people we love. They're safe and effective for everyone 12 and above. Which means we're one step closer to getting the whole band back together.
All right, guys, let's rock.
2, 3, 4.
Make an appointment at myturn.ca.gov today.
It's not the size of the wreck that matters. It's the size of the check. In a wreck and need a check? iAccidentLawyer.com.
iAccidentLawyer is the way to go. Call 800-920-0810.
Robert Coley, Esquire. Results may vary. No guarantee.
SoCal weather from KFI, sunny and hot with highs from the upper 60s at the coast to the low 100s inland. This report is brought to you by iAccidentLawyer.com. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. We're watching the 118.
You're about to have a little bit of a hiccup in your drive now coming away from the 405 going west towards Port Ranch. It's around Tampa, we're kind of in between Reseda and Tampa, so just be careful. We're pretty sure it's over to the shoulder, so just, again, be careful going through. Now, good news for the eastbound drive coming out of Simi, no problems there all the way over to the 405. Really have to highlight this problem in downtown Los Angeles, getting pretty serious, trying to get it out of your way, but it's southbound 110, south of the 4 level, at the 3rd, 4th Wilshire Ramp, an extremely busy place. But a crash there in lanes for a long time. Now it's slow coming out from a little bit south of Avenue 43. We'll keep our eye on that. South 5 coming out of Burbank, that's not too bad. And we'll stay slow now, right through the East LA interchange down to about 605. But south of that, into Buena Park, finally looking pretty good. Injured in an accident, visit superwomansuperlawyer.com. Jeff Fogg, AFI in the sky.
This report is sponsored by the Southern California BMW Centers. Now through August 2nd, during the BMW Ultimate Summer on Sales event, receive a credit of up to $3,500 on select models. See a Southern California BMW Center today for details, or visit SoCalBMW.com.
I was thinking about it, and I don't know in my entire life that I've ever heard somebody say, "I sold my house and the process was awesome." Nobody ever says, "I love doing all that repair work. I loved having all those people tromp through my house for all those different showings. I loved getting kicked out every time somebody wanted to see the place." Well, let's rethink the whole process. Think open door. I'm telling you, this is the new-fashioned way to sell your home, where you don't have to do all that crummy repair work. You don't have to schedule those walkthroughs. See, when you go to Open Door, here's what you do. All you have to do is tell them a little bit about your house, tell them how many bedrooms, tell them how many bathrooms, and then boom, in just a matter of minutes, they're going to compare your house to the comps in the neighborhood, and they come up with a real competitive offer. And I thought, okay, I want to see what this is all about, right? So I went to opendoor.com. It took maybe 2-3 minutes for me to put in the information about my house. I got an offer for my house that was way more than I expected. So what do you have to lose? If you're selling your home, sell your home the new-fashioned way, the stress-free way. Get your offer at opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., a license number 020-61130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC, in its other markets. Sell your home the new-fashioned way at opendoor.com/myoffer.
Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hey, it's Gary. You're a homeowner like me, right? And chances are you have a stucco house. Well, I thought about replacing windows, but because it's stucco, I don't want to be stuck with a bad installation. Here to tell us more, the one and only potato chip guy, Aaron, the founder of California Deluxe Windows.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, what advice do you have for someone in a stucco house looking for new windows?
It doesn't matter how nice the window is if it isn't installed correctly. Ever notice when your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and mismatched paint left around them? We call it ring around the window.
I know ring around the window. I see it all the time. These people get new windows, but the house looks worse after the installation.
We never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California that custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements.
Yeah, but doesn't every window company make its own windows?
No, they don't. Almost everyone else in California is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California Deluxe Windows, each window is custom made specifically for your home in our factory. We take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise. We do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
There they are. There are the potato chips. Are your windows affordable?
You will be surprised at how affordable they are, because they are designed, manufactured, and installed all by the same people. No one else in California can say that.
All right. I also have here that you are offering a special deal for our listeners. Pick up your phone right now. Aaron will give you 20% off your entire order and 1 year of interest-free financing.
But you have to call right now.
You heard the potato chip guy. Don't miss out on this amazing offer. Call California Deluxe Windows right now. 800-846-5700. 800-846-5700. That's 800-846-5700.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Shift hiring gears with Indeed. They go beyond the resume with 135 skills tests that help candidates show their abilities on things like computer proficiency or customer service. Indeed skills tests reduce hiring time by 27% on average. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Have you been denied a home loan or refinance because you're self-employed, earn 1099 income, or even a real estate investor? You're missing out. Most lenders make approval seem impossible, especially if you're self-employed. Stop watching everyone take advantage of the lowest mortgage rates in history while you're stuck on the sidelines. Accelerate Capital, the premier lender designed for the self-employed. Our approval process is based on common sense, using bank statements, 1099 income, profit loss statements, rental income, or even stated income to qualify at the lowest rates available. Fast. Conventional lenders cannot do this. When others say no, we say yes. Call 800-811-9702. 800-811-9702. Or visit acceleratecapital.com.
EXCELE. AccelerateCapital.com.
Equal housing lender. Call for details. NMLS ID number 1165716. Not all will qualify. California DFBI license number 41DBO45150. Additional restrictions may apply. Loans made or arranged pursuant to the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act.
So if a guy takes a dump on your shoes,
you can't call the police on him.
If you get groped by a vagrant,
you can't call police on him?
You can call them, they won't come. The vagrants and the crazy people have taken over the trains and buses. Now you know if one of them assaults you, John and Ken, no police.
Weekdays at 2
on KFI.
Doctor in my eyes, tell me what is wrong. Was I unwise to leave them open for so long?
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio apps. The Bill Handel Show with the morning crew. Dr. Jim Keeney is here, co-director of the ER at Mission Hospital in Mission Viejo. Dr. Jim, thank you for being here. Now, let's first deal with this. There's been some talk in some circles, and I think that this has to do with research coming out of Israel, that people who had the Pfizer vaccine, you start off with a certain amount of antibodies, running around in your blood, ready for a fight, and that the number of those antibodies has dropped a lot just in a few months. So what do you have to say about that? But also then I have a follow-up question, is having to do with whether vaccines only create antibodies and don't do anything else for you. What do you make of it?
Right. Well, that's your second question is the answer to the first question.
Oh, okay,
right? Is that you basically there's two parts of your immune system, right? There's the antibodies that you form, and those attack the virus itself, and then there's your cellular immunity, which part of that is to have a memory. And when your body sees the virus for the first time in a while, it actually produces one of the cells will present a piece of the virus to the memory cell, and then that memory cell starts cranking out antibodies. So, we don't necessarily need to have circulating antibodies immediately available to say that this is still an effective vaccine for some long time into the future. And that's what we're going to have to see is how long does this immunity really last overall, not just how many circulating antibodies do you have. And that'll remain to be seen. Is it likely that we need a booster? I mean, with certain other shots, with almost every other vaccine, you need a booster. It's just a question of, how long? Is it 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? And then will we need to change the vaccine for these variants? That's another issue that may require a sort of booster, which is really an updated vaccine annually or semi-annually or however fast this thing changes. So that all remains to be seen. But can you feel like the guns drawn and the target painted on Fauci already when people, Pfizer basically came out with almost like starting their own rumor that we're finding that you need a second, a third dose. And so they're lobbying for a third dose. And Fauci's just saying, wait, hold on a second. We don't know that yet. And as of right now, you don't need a booster vaccine. But, that may change in the future. And if it does change, they're all going to look back and say, Fauci lied to us.
Well, how could we know this soon if people need a booster? Because I think what you're describing is this. You get a vaccine, and one thing that happens is immediately you get a bunch of antibodies. Those are like active on-patrol soldiers on the lookout for the virus, ready to pounce. But also, you've built in the capability to make more of those antibodies should it become necessary. So if you have low antibodies at some point, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how protected you are from the virus. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is such an early process. It may not have anything to do with it at all. I mean, it may correlate. We don't know yet. And so it's just a matter of allowing time to figure this out and see what happens as antibodies fall off. What happens to people who are exposed after their antibodies have dropped? Do they immediately start making new antibodies? I mean, it's going to be kind of a wait and see. We have to learn about this.
You can't really tell. Yeah, you can't tell until you have people whose antibody levels have dropped, who get reinfected, and then you look at how does the second part of the immune system act. To me, it's almost like the ice maker in your refrigerator, right? Like you turn it on and then it gets filled up, right? And so at some point, if you're not using enough ice, you turn it off. And then over time, you use all the ice. But you can just turn the thing back on again if you need to, and pretty soon, you've got a full freezer full of ice again. So it's really about how is the immune system able to create new antibodies if necessary, and is it able to do it quickly enough to neutralize an infection? Because if it is fast enough, you don't need a booster. If it's not fast enough, is that when then perhaps it would be wise to have a booster?
Right. It's fast enough and strong enough. You need both.
Right.
And so as long as they're both there, then you don't necessarily need a booster. And so again, it's going to take time. I think we have to look into this. I mean, I do believe that there are ways that they can analyze the white blood cells to see how responsive they are in producing antibodies once the antibodies are gone. It's not like a standard test that we use in medicine, but it may be a research test. I'm just going to have to look into that.
All right, that's fascinating to me. One thing very, very quickly. What is the level of risk or harm if you got a third shot of Pfizer, even if it wasn't medically necessary? What's the level of danger or risk in doing it?
Well, for a person, there's probably zero danger or risk of getting it, or close to zero. But, the risk of putting the entire world on alert that they need a third dose, that's no light undertaking. So we're going to need some serious evidence that we need to do that before we gear up the mechanism again to make sure every single person in the world gets a third dose before. And remember, there's countries in the world here where we're at 15-20% vaccination rate because they don't even have the vaccine yet. So are we going to divert vaccine from those kind of countries where the virus is still spreading like wildfire, where variants are still spooling up? It doesn't make sense for us to do that if we're protected already. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, Dr. Jim, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right, you too. There he goes, Dr. Jim Keeney, co-director of the ER at Mission Hospital. We'll get a news update from Jennifer Jones-Lee, and then... No. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, my bad, but possibly your good. Here it is, your chance to win $1,000.
KFI has your chance to win $1,000.
Text the nationwide keyword
GREEN, GREEN,
to 200-200.
You'll get a confirmation text and info.
Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest.
That's GREEN to 200-200.
If you win, you get a call from a number you won't recognize. You got to pick it up or they'll move on to somebody else. Didn't win? Another chance next hour, around 20 after the hour, or maybe a little bit after 20 after the hour, depending on my brain. Right here on KFI. All right, handle on the news coming up next is KFI 86.1.
For the best, my reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. We can't make any promises now, can we, babe? But you can make me dream. Top bar on the east side, where you at? Long lights at my nightstand in the black. Come here, you can meet me in the back. Dark jeans and your Nikes, look at you. Oh damn, never seen that color blue. Just think of the fun things we could do. Cause I like you, listen for the rest. My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. Yeah, I want you. We can't make any promises now, can we, babe? But you can make me dream. Is it cool that I said all that? Is it chill
Oh no. Oh. Compare to this time. Speed away. There's this one. That's what resistance was used to do. Around here, water. Oh. Come on. God. Bad. This one. This one. Oh, please. This is. Speeds away his what's been told not to do.